Hey, good morning, Skylar here. We're going to do a little 30-minute Vinyasa flow class today that's really designed for hikers or people who are using their lower body a lot, whether running, jogging, like I said, hiking. So we're going to be doing a lot of opening up and strengthening through the legs and the hips as well as the core. When you're hiking, a lot of times you have a really heavy pack you're carrying around, so it really requires a lot of core strength to keep that spine protected. So that's what we'll be doing today, and let's go ahead and get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out in easy pose, Sukhasana, one shin in front of the other. Sit bones rooted into the ground below you. Allow the crown of the head to reach up to the ceiling. Let the palms of the hands face down on the knees. Just bring your attention to your breath. Taking an inhale for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue with the natural pace of breathing. Trying to continue to take nice, slow inhales. And nice, slow, and even longer exhales. Not forcing anything, but using the breath as a tool to bring us into the present moment, to calm the central nervous system. And just check in with your body. Become aware of any sensations. Any areas where you might be holding on to tension. Any place that feels tight. And together, let's set an intention for this practice. A vow to practice non-harm with ourselves. So doing the practice to the best of our ability, not pushing ourselves harder than we can comfortably go. And when we're going about our activities, our hiking, our jogging, or whatever it is that we like to do for our exercise, making a vow not to harm ourselves in the process, to give ourselves plenty of time to recover. And taking care of ourselves on the mat so that we can enjoy the things that we love. And gently open up the eyes. And come onto all fours. Stack the hips on top of the knees, shoulders on top of the wrists, and we'll take some cat-cows, loosening up the spine. Inhale, drop the belly down, raise the hips up, raise the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And exhale, push into the hands, round the back. Inhale, cow, drop the belly. Exhale, cat. Round the spine. Take a few more rounds at your own pace with your own breath. Bring your spine to neutral. Raise the right hand up parallel to the ground, and then bring the left leg up parallel to the ground as well, pointing the toes down. Suck the abdominals in, navel towards the spine. Working on core strength right off the bat. Protecting our spine, working on the whole core, not just the abs that look good. And drop the hand, drop the knee, and go to the other side, raising the left arm, raising the right leg, pointing the right toes down. Suck the navel in towards the spine. And breathe. And go ahead and drop the hand, drop the knee, and we'll go through a few sun salutations to get the body warmed up. So plant the toes into the mat, raise the hips up to the ceiling, downward facing dog, planting the thumb and the first finger into the mat, creating just a slight external rotation through the arms. Not pushing too hard in this first one. Remember our intention of ahimsa, not harm. Just feeling where the body's at today. Continue the long, smooth breathing pattern. Look up with the hands, walk the feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Let's stay here for just a moment. Heel toe the feet to about hips distance apart. Grab opposite elbows and just let the crown of the head hang down towards the ground, bending the knees if necessary. Actually, let's do this. Bend the knees, let the torso rest on the thighs. Let the crown of the head drop towards the ground. And then, if you have long hamstrings and if it feels right for you, start to straighten the knees, keeping that chest connected to the thighs. Feel the hamstrings lengthening, creating space in between each vertebrae. And on a nice long inhale, bend the knees and roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Keeping the back protected by keeping the knees bent. And come on up, raise the hands up towards the ceiling. Inhale, baby back bend if it feels good. Exhale, hands to heart center. Bring the toes together. Bend the knees, slip the hips back. Bring the fingers to the mat. And then keeping your lower half right where it's at, bring the hands up. Look up, and exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to the top of the plank, and hold here for just a moment. Push into the hands, the shoulders can round a bit. Suck the navel in towards the spine. And if you need to modify, you can drop the knees here. If you're still with me, come on down halfway to Chaturanga. Elbows stacked on top of the wrist, and go ahead and drop the whole body down. Bring just the fingertips right by the chest, and allow your back strength to pull the chest up for baby cobra. Letting the lower body relax. And bring the forehead down, push into the hands, come on up into downward facing dog. And look in between the hands, step the right foot forward, back foot spins down 45 degrees, come on up, warrior one. Rooting through the outside edge of the back foot, making sure the front knee is on top of the ankle. Pushing the knee just a bit towards the outside edge of the front foot. Look up at the thumbs. And exhale, bring the hands down to the front of the mat. Come through your vinyasa. So we're stepping back to plank, down to chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. I'll step the left foot forward, spin the right foot back down to 45 degrees, and come on up. Hands up. Interlace all fingers except for the thumb and the first finger. Again, checking the alignment through the feet. Root into the outside edge of the back foot. Let the knee stack on top of the ankle and the front leg. Be careful that the knee isn't caving inwards. You want it to be pushing towards the outside edge of the front foot. Rotate the hips towards the front of the mat. And look up at the hands. Exhale, bring the hands down to your vinyasa. Plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. And hold here for 5, 4. Root through the thumb and the index finger. Bend the knees, push the chest into the knees. Feel the lengthening in the back. And then push the heels down towards the mat. Look between the hands and walk up between the hands. Keeping the knees bent, hips down, coming into chair pose. Inhale, interlace the fingers except for the first finger and the thumb. Weight into the heels, sit the hips back a bit more. Exhale, forward fold. We'll go through that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back to plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step the right foot forward, warrior one. Come on down through the vinyasa. And we meet in downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward, warrior one. And exhale through the vinyasa. High plank, low plank, upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. And breathe. Take a big breath in through the nose. Sigh it out the mouth. Step the right foot in between the hands. Drop the back knee. Bring the hands to the knee. For a low lunge, really getting into the front of that left hip here. Back toes can be planted into the mat, or you can just allow the foot to release. You just don't want all of your weight to be right on that kneecap. You may find you need to pad the knee a bit. And so let's actually do that before we go into the next variation of the posture. Roll the edge of your mat up so you have 2 layers of your mat you're on. And take the left arm up and around, raise that left foot and grab it with the left hand. Getting into the quads. And release. All right, bring the hands to frame that front foot, step it back into downward facing dog, and step the left foot forward, drop the right knee, low lunge on the left, bring the hands to the left knee. Just allow your hips to sink down, remembering to be easy on yourself. For me, it's first thing in the morning right now, so I'm pretty tight. Letting go of any thoughts. Gazing ahead of you with a soft gaze. And let's give the knee some padding before we grab onto that right foot. Okay, so take the right arm up, over and behind, grab the right foot. If possible, you can always use a strap here. And just gently pull that foot as close to the bottom as you can. And drop the right foot, frame the front foot, step it back into downward facing dog. And just hold here for a moment. You can always drop into child's pose if you need to come back to your breath. So that would mean we're dropping the knees, bringing the toes together, sitting the hips back on the heels, and walking the hands forward. Forehead resting on the mat. Take the right foot and swing it to the outside of that right hand. Drop the left knee. Come into lizard pose, starting to really get into the hips here. So you can stay right here where you're at. And if it feels all right, you can drop down to the elbows. Just really come to your breath here. You can let the front foot roll over onto the outside edge of the foot if it feels comfortable for you, and if it allows you to get a deeper opening in that hip. We want to especially be careful with ourselves when we're working on the joints. So you should feel nice opening sensation, but not pain. If you're working on arm balances, This one's kind of fun. You can bring your right shoulder underneath that right knee. Really get it under there. Bring your hands down in line right behind that front foot. Bend the elbows. Bring your weight onto your triceps. And just try to raise the legs. And come on down. Bring that right foot back. Downward facing dog once more. And take the left foot, bring it to the outside of that left hand, drop the right knee. And coming into lizard, you can stay up like this. If it feels right, you can drop the elbows down. You can keep the sole of the feet on the mat if it feels right, or you can just let the knee drop open, bringing that front foot to the outside edge. Really allowing each exhale to take us deeper and deeper into relaxation. The more we relax, the more we open up. If you're working on your arm balances, you can come into this arm balance on this side. Otherwise, go ahead and stay where you're at. If you're coming with me, bring that left shoulder underneath the left knee. Bring the hands in line behind that left foot. And just bend the elbows, bring your weight onto the triceps. Lift up the legs. Come on down. Bring the left foot back, coming into tabletop. And come up onto your feet. Bring the feet about max distance apart, pointing the toes outward. Sit the hips down for malasana or yogi squat. Hands in prayer in front of the heart, elbows against the inner thighs. Using the elbows to open up through the legs, raising the crown of the head towards the ceiling, not slouching down here, but getting space in the spine. Bring your right hand down on the outside, well, in front of the right foot. Bring the left hand up, open up through the chest, get a soft spinal twist, look up, and come through center. Bring the left hand in front of the left foot, open up the right arm towards the ceiling, look up. And bring the hand back down. Straighten the knees. Keep the feet where they're at, just max distance apart. Grab the opposite elbows, let the head hang. Knees either straight or bent. Walk the hands to the front of the mat for a wide-legged downward facing dog. Just feel the difference there in the stretch. You can bend the knees, push into the hands. And come forward and all the way down onto all fours. And we're going to transition onto our butts. Do a little bit of core work here. with Navasana, or boat pose. So bring the shins parallel to the mat. You can keep the hands on the ground, or you can grab the backs of the thighs, or you can reach towards the feet. The main idea is to keep the chest up, core engaged. You don't want to sag through the back. So pull the chest in towards the knees, raise the shins up, and find your place in Navasana. If you like, you can straighten the knees. And hold for 3 more. And slowly lower down. And release. Get a nice full body stretch. Reach the hands up, point the toes down. And bring the knees into the chest. Give them a nice hug. And let's roll over onto the belly. Do a little bit of work on the back. Bring the hands down by the hips, palms facing up. Bring the legs together, zip them up like it's one leg. And inhale, pull the hands up, pull the chest up. Pull the hands back, I should say. Pull the chest up. And then on your next inhale, raise the feet up. Locust pose. Holding for a few breaths. And release. Drop the cheek onto the mat. Taking a moment to rest. Okay, bend the knees, raise the feet up towards the ceiling. Grab the outsides of the feet or the ankles. Make sure the knees are about hips distance apart. Don't have them flopping out. I'm going to have some control so we're not pinching the back. So keeping the quadriceps on the ground, we're going to start by kicking the feet back, pulling the chest up. Take a breath. On the next inhale, raise the quads up, pull the feet up and back. I will try something a little different. Let the toes touch, roll over onto your left side. Feel the opening through the chest and the quads. And roll onto the belly, and over to the right. And back through the center, release the feet, make a little tabletop with your hands for your forehead to rest on. Just hold here for a few breaths in this prone position. Allowing the back to rest, the body to integrate. And gently just roll over onto your back. Take the left thigh over the right, hooking into eagle legs if you can. So that would look like bringing the left toe behind the right calf. And if you can't make that bind with the foot, it's okay. Just cross the thigh, the left thigh over the right. But wherever you're at, bring your arms to a T and just let the knees fall over to the right, keeping both shoulders planted on the mat. Look over to the left hand. For a full spinal twist. If you feel like you need a deeper twist, you just raise the knees up a bit more. Bring the knees up through center. Switch sides, taking the right thigh over the left. Shift your hips over to the right just a bit. Make the bind with the toe if you can. If not, it's all good. And just let the knees fall over to the left side. Turn your gaze to the right. Trying to keep the right shoulder on the mat. Bring the knees up through center. Bend the knees into the chest. Give them a nice squeeze. Keeping the knees bent, raise the soles of the feet towards the ceiling and grab the outside edges. For happy baby pose. Just rocking from side to side. Giving your back a little bit of love here. Just a little bit of opening through the hips through one last pose. One less active pose, I should say. Let go of the feet, drop the legs down. Feet come about mat's distance apart. Allow the feet to flop open. Backs of the hands rest on the ground beside you. Squeeze the shoulder blades in towards each other. Opening up the chest a bit. Make any adjustments you need to make in order for you to feel evenly supported by the ground below you. Let your breath fall to a natural pace. If you find that your mind wanders off, just bring it back to the breath. Noticing the sound that the breath makes as you inhale, filling up the lungs. And exhale, notice the sound as the belly drops. The breath of life that we often don't pay attention to. We know that only a few minutes without the breath is fatal. Use this time to really appreciate the body for what it does on a daily basis. yourself to sink deeper into relaxation. Nowhere to go. Nothing to do here in this moment. Start to wiggle the fingers and the toes, bringing movement back into the body. Moving the wrists and the ankles. Bring the soles of the feet to the mat. And just let them drop over to the right, coming onto your right side, resting the head on the right arm. With the left hand at the chest, push into the left hand, come on up, leading with the left shoulder, leading with the heart, keeping the eyes closed. Come back into a comfortable seated position, placing the hands in front of the heart. Taking a moment to remember our intention for the practice. Imagining that intention of non-harm to drop from our head to our heart, carrying this with us throughout the day. Remembering to go easy on ourselves, not to cause harm to others. The yoga practice is more than just about physical fitness and stretching and taking care of the muscles. We do this so that we can be effective in our lives, so that our bodies work efficiently, so that our mind is calm and non-reactive, so that we can enjoy each day to the fullest. May you enjoy your day to the fullest. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.